Welcome to this explainer masterclass. If you've ever felt like your own thoughts are just running on this exhausting autopilot, you are absolutely in the right place today. So go ahead, grab your coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's settle in. We're about to look right under the hood of human behavior. Now get a load of this number, 148,000. That is the estimated number of times the average person hears the word no or some kind of limiting message like don't, can't, or you shouldn't before they even reach adulthood. I mean, think about the sheer magnitude of that for a second. That's dozens of corrective messages every single day, repeated year after year during our most crucial identity-forming years. We definitely didn't start adulthood as a blank slate. We started with a nervous system that was already heavily trained by this repetitive messaging. Okay, so let's quickly look at our roadmap for this explainer. Today, we're tracking the architecture of your mind. We're going to hit the mind's operating system, repetition as programming, nervous system resource management, rewiring your self-concept, and finally, the neuroalignment method. Let's kick things right off with Section 1, the mind's operating system, discovering your internal software. It is absolutely crucial that we redefine what self-talk actually is. We so often treat self-talk like it's just a passing mood, right? Just a fleeting thought. But in reality, self-talk functions as your mind's actual operating system. Your internal narrative doesn't merely describe your life, it actively designs and directs it. It's constantly assigning meaning to raw facts, forecasting what's going to happen next, and deciding exactly how your body should respond to keep you safe. Like if your operating system is running on code that says mistakes are dangerous, well, it's going to direct your behavior to avoid risk at all costs. So how exactly did that operating system get installed? Let's move right into Section 2, repetition as programming, how loops become default. The really key point here is understanding how those early 148,000 limits actually became our default programming. Repetition is just a massive programming force. When your brain hears something on repeat, it doesn't just learn a behavior, it absorbs a conclusion about who you actually are. When our internal narrative is dominated by hindrance messaging for decades, our self-concept literally shrinks. And why? Because the nervous system stops hearing those repetitive loops as just passing information and starts treating them as absolute hard truth. We rehearse and embody those limiting messages until they become our actual identity, which, makes it nearly impossible to accept simple feedback without just collapsing into shame. But what is all this faulty programming actually costing you on a daily basis? Let's check out Section 3. Nervous system resource management, the cost of your internal utility bill. I love this analogy. I want you to think of your words as the utility bills of your mind. Negative self-talk, those looping scripts of fear, shame, and hypervigilance, acts exactly like leaving all the lights on in an empty house. It constantly drains your energy and your clarity, but it offers you absolutely no warmth. Nothing. In contrast, adopting an aligned internal dialogue is a lot like installing solar panels. Sure, it takes a little bit of conscious intention at first to set up, but ultimately it generates sustainable internal power. Changing your dialogue fundamentally transforms how you manage your daily physical and emotional capacity. And this brings us to a really fascinating concept, your internal weather. Because you don't react to raw facts, you react to the meaning your inner voice assigns to them, which instantly changes your nervous system's state. Say your inner script catastrophizes a simple email delay, while your nervous system responds as if you're under genuine physical or emotional threat. Your internal weather shifts violently from a clear and calm present state straight into windy, anxiety, or even stormy overwhelm. You enter a state of defensive panic, right? You're fighting, fleeing, or freezing. And here's the kicker. You can't just think positive your way out of a stormy nervous system. Your body is running the meeting. All right, let's pivot to how we upgrade this. Section 4, rewiring your self-concept, altering your daily choices. When you change the script, you literally rewire your self-concept. Remember, the internal narrative you rehearsed eventually becomes the role you play. If your dialogue constantly predicts failure, your mindset becomes hyperprotective. You start people-pleasing, overworking, or just avoiding risks entirely just to feel safe. But upgrading your internal dialogue directly shifts what your mind is optimizing for. It moves you away from fear and control. It stops that exhausting cycle of constant performance. And instead, it strengthens the root system that feeds your genuine confidence and resilience. It fosters a daily vibe that's geared toward truth, steady connection, and sustainable growth. So how do we actually fix the code? Let's dive into Section 5, the neuroalignment method, installing the software update. Now we've reached the really practical application of this explainer. This is a 10-minute daily practice to rewrite your mind's root system. It's a simple 3-step loop. Step 1, interrupt. Catch the negative narrative loop before it completes its cycle. Literally just name it. Say, that's a script, not a verdict. Step 2 is regulate. Now, this is the crucial hinge. You absolutely must restore safety to the body. Return to your breath, take a slow, long exhale to shift out of that stormy weather and find your calm. And finally, step 3, replace. Once you're regulated, consciously choose a compassionate, truthful inner script. By doing this, you're actively installing the neuroalignment software update. Because repetition is a programming force, we have to use it to our advantage, like it says right here. One thought, one breath. Shift your vibe today. Taking this moment day by day trains your mind to build a completely new default reality. You aren't trying to force some massive personality transplant here. You're just gently practicing alignment. Over time, this small, repeated practice shifts you entirely away from an exhausting cycle of stressful survival and turns it into a super sturdy foundation for intentional living. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to carry with you today. Who wrote the script you are currently living inside? Was it you? Or was it the echoes of 148,000 inherited messages? And more importantly, are you ready to take back your authorship and write a brand new one? The pen is in your hand.